Welcome to Salute to the Ears, where my family and I discuss everything Disney, from parks, food, and rides to travel tips, movies, and more. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Salute to the Ears. This is episode number 25. And I am your host, Jeremy Simon, and I will be all by my lonesome again today. Today we're going to be talking about some news. First part of news is we made it to a year. Didn't know if we'd make it to a year. It's kind of started off as a hobby. Still as a hobby, but we're 25 episodes in, and we've made it to a year. We've had a lot of fun along the way, kind of sharing some of our ideas, mostly on Disney World and the parks, a little bit on movies. Made some good memories with the family, and it's been fun along the way. Hopefully we can make it another year and more than 25 episodes. Hopefully get a little bit more regular on making episodes. Hopefully weekly, at most bi-monthly. But hopefully we can do it once a week. But this week we have all kinds of news to talk about. First off, fireworks have returned. Fireworks came back on July 1st. Today is July 7th, so they've been back for almost a week now. When they debuted at Magic Kingdom, it was a rainy night. There was lots of live streaming going on, but it seemed like most people were having problems with the live streaming just because everybody was trying to do it all at once. Waiting a day and seeing some of the vloggers and the stuff that they got that wasn't live stream was kind of the way to go. Unfortunately, that first night when it rained, there was no Tinkerbell. So you couldn't really see that. The night before, or 2 nights before I should say, whenever they did a soft opening and debut for the cast members of Magic Kingdom, and they came in, Tinkerbell was there, and you could see, I know Jojo from JoJo's World was doing some live streaming. He was having a little bit of issue. He had to go kind of far back on Main Street, but you were still able to see Tinkerbell. And on that night as well, Casey's opened up. I am so excited to go back and go to Casey's and either get like a chili cheese dog or some corn dog nuggets, some plastic cheese, and sit there on that corner on Main Street and watch people as they go by. Not in a creepy way, but just kind of enjoying the happiness that's happening all around. Maybe getting those, maybe just before you watch Happily Ever After there at the Magic Kingdom. But that's not the only place fireworks came back. You can go take a short monorail ride, or when that part of the monorail opens back up, hopefully soon, rumor is soon, whenever that part opens back up, over to Epcot, and you can watch Epcot Forever over there. That also opened up on the 1st. And it's a little bit different to what it has been. We're not having the kites go around like it was before. Not really having the lasers either. But it's kind of just a fireworks show with the music that was there with Epcot Forever. Kind of a way to say goodbye to Epcot Forever, because once it goes, it's gone. Harmonious is coming starting October 1st. Don't really know what's going to happen with Happily Ever After the anniversary. Because starting the anniversary, we're going to have some new fireworks over at Magic Kingdom, which I cannot wait. Like we talked about before, projections down Main Street on the buildings. Should be a good time. Should be a lot of fun. Just a new way to make some memories. But I don't know what's going to happen to Happily Ever After that. My gut tells me it's probably not going to come back. It'll probably be something else. And it'll be something else that we'll all talk about. Oh, we wish Happily Ever After was here. We'll watch the fireworks show. It'll grow on us. It'll cause some of us to cry, Erica, and lots of other people, and we'll love it all the same. I think it'll still be a good show, but for 18 months we'll get the new show over at Magic Kingdom in Harmonious starting October 1st. Now, it's been awfully rainy down at Magic Kingdom ever since those fireworks came out. I think there's been a few nights in there, a couple nights in there where it hasn't been raining, but overall it's been really rainy. Time of the year down there during the day, which we all expect during the afternoons, but it's been throughout the day down there in the evenings, so it's been really rainy, and it's not going to get any better this week as now Tropical Storm Elsa. It's gone from Tropical Storm to Hurricane, back to Tropical Storm, back to a Hurricane, and now back to a Tropical Storm as it's making its way inland on the western side of Florida and its way towards Orlando, and are going to be getting lots of rain. They're in a flood watch there. I would expect rain for the next few days from what I'm seeing. And I don't know what's going to happen with the fireworks at night. Sometimes at night, when it's raining, they still go, and sometimes they don't. I think it all depends on lightning and how severe the weather is. I know that first night it was almost a monsoon, really heavy rains, and they still went, and it seemed like everybody enjoyed them. Lots of people crying. It looked like it was a good time, but fireworks still went that night. I know last night they canceled Epcot Forever fireworks because of the rain. I don't know what's going to happen this week with that. But with that, we have all kinds of other stuff that's been going on. It's been announced since we did our last podcast, like in-person running events, the marathons, the half marathons. Those are coming back. For some people, that's what they really look forward to. I think that's kind of one of the things on my bucket list I would like to do. Erica will stay on the sideline and cheer me on, but it's on my bucket list of one of the things I'd like to do. For me personally, it's physical fitness was a big part of my life, just being an athlete growing up and then in the military, and then being told I'd never be able to run again. Running in that event would be like a big accomplishment for me and big on my bucket list. So maybe someday I'll get there. One that they're really talking about right now is the Villains Half Marathon, which is the first week of November. And it sounds like it's going to be very busy. Lots of people very excited for that. That would be a good time. Just another step in getting back to normal down in Disney World. And then one of the other things that's going on is those Boo Bash dates are selling out really quickly. Not just the big dates, but now you're also getting dates in September that are selling out. That first few days in August when it kicks off, those are sold out. And then October is getting very difficult to get as well. And then we've had lots and lots and lots of restaurants, table service, snack places that have opened up. Like we've already talked about Casey's, which I was thoroughly excited for. Yes, I know it's just a hot dog. And it's just a corn dog, and they're just fries that you can get from anywhere. The food itself isn't anything spectacular. I know that. It's the environment. It's what it represents. It's nostalgic to me. It's the place you can sit there and eat a hot dog and still watch all the events going on Main Street, on the hub, in front of the castle. If parades are going by or cavalcades, you can see what's going on. It's just that spot for me on Main Street that just has a special meaning to me, and sounds like to a whole lot of other people because they have been swamped since they opened. Also in Magic Kingdom, the Golden Oak Outpost, it's now open. It's all the way down there in Adventureland, kind of in between Adventureland and Frontierland. If you kind of go the back way, past Pirates, kind of going around the curve towards Splash, it's back in there. There you can get chicken tenders, French fries, chili cheese fries, a sweet tea slushy. Never had it. Be willing to try. Like me some sweet tea, but I don't know if I like it in a slushy. I don't know. Have to try it. We'll have to see. Hopefully I'll get down there sometime soon and we'll be able to find out. Also, opening today in Magic Kingdom, the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor. This is right across Main Street from Casey's and next to the Plaza Restaurant. Great ice cream. You can go in there and get some crazy shakes. Good places to get desserts, specialty sundaes. It's fantastic if you just want ice cream. That's another thing you can do right there on Main Street if you don't want a hot dog. If you just want something cool, sweet, go get some ice cream and sit on the curb or stand there and watch fireworks or cavalcades as they come by. And someday, hopefully sooner rather than later, parades. So a good place to go. Keep that in mind. Love that place. Love the shakes. Love the shakes they bring out at the Plaza Restaurant. Completely underrated restaurant. Love that place. Food is good. And it's just nothing fancy inside. You can kind of see everything that's going on out there. We've always had great service. Food was above average. I will give it that. And it was not, for Disney, especially Magic Kingdom prices, wasn't completely outrageous. It was pretty good. Other places that we got that have opened up, we got 8 Spoons Cafe and the Dino Diner over in Disney's Animal Kingdom. Eight Spoons Cafe. It's where you get all that great macaroni and cheese. It's almost like a big cart. They got several different kinds of macaroni and cheese. And then Dino Diner, they have all kinds of things, including your churro, if you want a churro while you're over in Disney's Animal Kingdom. Then one of the things that they've also started doing, now this is at Caribbean Beach Resort and Gasparilla Grill over in Grand Floridian, they have started doing family night dinners. With this, it's basically a 3-course meal that's designed to serve, I think they said 4 to 5 people. Costs $79. So meals for 4 to 5, and it comes with a game. You get dinner and game night if you can be there in your room. Maybe if you know it's going to be a rainy night and fireworks aren't going to go, or you don't want to stand out there in the rain anymore, maybe this is a good idea. $79 sounds like a lot, but if you add up how much you're going to spend on, say, a regular table service meal, you're going to spend probably well over that just about anywhere on properties. Not necessarily the worst thing in the world, especially if you have a room that makes it very easy to eat in. Something like a DVC room, like one of those 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom villas that has a table for you to sit and plenty of space for everybody. So might be a good idea, might be something fun, especially if you're spending more than just 4 or 5 days there, or if it's going to be really rainy at night. And then they have also announced more places that are getting ready to open up. Now, this is changing daily. More places are opening up as they're getting people trained to get in there. They've been doing massive hiring, especially for food service workers, and getting more college program people in there. So they're able to open up more of these places. Citricos over at Grand Floridian, it's going to be opening up on July 15th. So if you're staying over at Grand Floridian, or if you just want to take that short little stroll or ferry ride or monorail ride from Magic Kingdom, you can go over to Citricos and eat there. Nicer place, good food. From everything I've seen, I have not eaten at this one. It's on the list along with a whole bunch of other ones, but it's on the list. But it opens up July 15th. And then over at the campsites at Fort Wilderness, you have Trails Inn. Over here, you can get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's served skillet style. It looks fantastic. It's kind of one of those all-you-can-eat family-style meals that they've been doing more of. There's no buffets, but they've been doing skillets here for quite some time. It's what they're known for. But it's opening up July 17th. So 2 days after Citricos, like I said, more and more places are beginning to open up. And then over there at Disney Springs right now, we don't want to forget about them. They have Flavors of Florida going on. Several of the restaurants have different Florida-themed dishes. Seems that there's a lot of key lime going on. I don't know if they didn't speak to each other with what's going on, but there's a lot of similar style things going on. I know like over Everglades, you can get a key lime filled donut, which looks pretty tasty. And then I saw over at Homecoming, which is number 1 on my list of places I want to go eat at, but I haven't got to yet. They're having gator bites. I saw fried gator bites on their list of things that they're serving. I've had gator before. I enjoyed it. I would love to go there and try Chef Art Smith's twist on it. I bet you it's fantastic because everything there looks fantastic. I'd imagine I would be leaving that place rather happy. The big news of what's going on this week isn't necessarily happening at Disney World or Disneyland, although it sounds like they're going to start selling annual passes again, which is big news, especially for those whose annual passes are running out. Once we get more information on that, we'll talk about that more, but we don't really know much for sure what's going on with that, other than it sounds like they're getting ready to start selling them again. But the big news is happening over in Disneyland Paris. So what's going on over there is their fast passes, which they still have, unlike Disney World, theirs are going away. And they're putting in a new system called Premier Pass. So what this is, it comes in, this is 2 different stages. First part of it is with the Premier Pass, which is what people are going to equate to a fast pass. But hear me out. This isn't necessarily a fast pass. They're just going to be using the fast pass line. Okay, you're going to have to pay $8 to $18 to skip a line per person per ride. So if your family of 4 wants to go on Space Mountain or Thunder Mountain or whatever, if this was at Disney World, your family of 4 would have to pay somewhere in that $8 to $20 or $8 to $18 range per person per ride. So if it's, say, when Tron opens up, that's going to be a high-end one. That's probably going to be like your $18 to $20. So let's say it's $20 just for easy math, because math isn't my strong suit. And there's 5 of you in your family. You're going to have to drop $100. $100 to make sure you all get on that ride and you get to skip the line so you don't have to wait in it for 3 hours. Is that going to be worth it? Is that the number one thing you want to do with your family on that trip? Maybe it is. Maybe that's something you splurge on to make sure that you get it. I don't know. It's something to think about. It's extra money that you're going to have to be paying for those rides. Are you going to pay to do that throughout the day? Because that's going to add up very quickly. And we'll get more onto that. But that's going to add up very quickly and become very expensive. More than most of us are probably willing to spend, especially considering the cost of the ticket to get in the first place. Now, if you don't pay to skip the line to do this Premier Pass, it doesn't mean that you won't get to ride the ride as of yet. What it sounds like is going to happen is once the parks open up, you'll have standby lines. Once those standby lines reach their limit of where they want them to reach in the morning, then you're going to be able to get basically a virtual standby line. You're going to be able to get on your phone or go somewhere in the park and reserve a time for you and your party to ride that ride. So this is kind of like the old school fast pass system. This is what I'm picturing in my head, to where you can either go to the kiosk and you can get it and you can reserve it either with your phone, like tapping your phone on there, or your Magic Band, or you can do it on your phone and it will say you want to go ride Tron or Space Mountain or Splash Mountain or whatever, and you got family of 4, so they can give you 30 minutes. It's going to give you a 30-minute window, say between 12 and 12:30, to go get in the standby line. Now, once you get in that standby line, I don't know how fast that line is going to go. I don't know if you're still going to have to wait that max amount of time. Say their max amount of time is, we don't want anything to be over 60 minutes in a standby line. I don't know if you're still going to have to wait that 60 minutes or if they're going to let that die down so that once you get in there in your window, you're only waiting for 20 or 30 minutes. I'm not for sure how that's going to work. What this does mean is once they get to that point in the day when you're going to be having those standby lines, those virtual standby lines, that means there's going to be more people wandering around the parks. Their theory, at least in my head, is more people wandering around the parks, then that means more people spending money in the shops, on snacks, on food, making more money that way. But that also means that's why they're going to be keeping park reservation, so then they can limit how many people are in there, because if their capacity was what it was when they had regular Fast Pass, or Fast Pass Plus as we remember it, and all the shows and everything going, well, they can't have that many people in there now. There just isn't that much room, because you're not going to have nearly as many people in the lines, because you're going to have a few that are going to be doing the Premier Pass, jumping the line. So what used to be Fast Pass Plus, that whole queue is now going to be fairly empty, and everyone else is going to be over in the standby line until it reaches a certain distance. Well, if you were in a virtual queue, then you're going to be wandering around the park looking for something to do. So that means you're either going to be spending money, or they're going to have to open up those big shows, especially over like in Hollywood Studios. They got to get Indiana Jones going, Phantasmic, which only runs a couple times during the night if you're lucky, but it eats up a bunch of people. Beauty and Beast Sing-Along, shows over in Animal Kingdom. Once October 1st comes, then you're going to have the show there in the amphitheater again with their kites going around during the day. They need to have that going several times so it can eat up people. The Up show over there, Nemo, Festival of the Lion King. You need to have all these shows going in all these parks to really eat up people. over in Epcot, I think with the World Showcase, that by itself eats up enough people, and there's not a whole lot of shows going on over there to begin with. Although the show over in Canada is going away because they are going to be using that space for food and wine, which is actually going to be starting here sooner rather than later. I don't have the exact date, but I think it's here in July that it's starting. So some of these shows are going away, but I think over in Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, they really have to find ways to eat up those crowds, keep them entertained, and right now that's not there. Maybe that's getting Monsters Laugh 4 going. Maybe that's Country Bear Jamboree's already been full. You got to get cavalcades, parades, live shows up on stage, out on the hub, get those going again. You got to find something that's going to eat up people, and over in Magic Kingdom, that's not the easiest thing to do. So I'm not for sure what they're going to do over there. But what this could also mean is that, I don't know, I'm trying to think the correct way to put this. It seems like Disney has been pushing to try and get wealthier crowds in there, into their parks, ever since COVID came back. At first, it seemed like they were just doing things to try to get us to not go. For like, hey, we're going to be open so that we can provide some income for some of our cast members, start getting a little bit of money coming in, but if you don't come, we understand. Like, those perks weren't there. But as we're getting further out and parks look like they're near capacity at this point, it looks like they're really starting to push, trying to get the wealthier crowds in there. And I think they want them in there because they're going to spend more money. So if they're going to have fewer people in their park reservation system, then the people they want in there are the ones that are going to spend more money. I'm not a fan of this. I can't speak for what Walt would want or do, but I can't imagine he would want parks that were not available for people to make memories with their families. It's to the point now to where if you're even middle class, it's almost a once in a lifetime trip and you have to save for it. And if you have to save for it, how much more now are you going to have to save to try and skip the lines so that you can make sure that you're getting all these rides in? I don't know what their plan is, why they're doing this, but that's kind of looks like what they're doing. I hope I'm wrong. I hope some more perks come out and it makes it more accessible to everybody. I don't like the fact that it seems like it's just becoming a park for the wealthy. It makes it very difficult to back that. It makes it very difficult for us to go, and it breaks my heart that more families won't get the chance to experience that happiness, that magical week on a more regular basis. It shouldn't cost you, a family of four, over $4,000 to go spend 4 days and stay in a value resort. It seems like prices just keep going up, but hopefully more discounts keep rolling out. We'll talk about more kind of how to maybe battle this. I'm not for sure if battle is even the right word. How to voice our displeasure. So I'm not for sure what to do with it. My other theory on this is I think they could be debuting this fastpass system over in Paris. I shouldn't say debuting because it's already been going in Shanghai. We don't hear as much about what's going on in Shanghai here in the U.S. as we do about what's going on in Paris, it seems. I think maybe they're debuting this system, the virtual standby line and the Premier Pass in Paris, maybe to see what the reaction would be here. And then before they debut it here, they're going to polish it up, try to fix maybe some of the things that we've been complaining about, and try and come to a happy medium. FastPass Plus, as we knew it, is dead. It's not coming back. It's no longer going to be a free system. It was just a matter of time. And COVID was a good excuse as any to reset it. It was going to happen. It's still going to happen. It is how it's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know. It's going to cost something. Hopefully it's not going to cost as much as what we're hearing. I've heard everything from there's going to be pay per person per ride, like we were just talking about. I mean, if that's anywhere from 8 to 18 or 10 to $20 per person per ride, that gets real expensive real fast, especially if you're going to all the parks, you're going to hit all the big rides. That's not fair. I mean, we get military discount tickets, so they're like half the price. But if all four of us wanted to go for 4 days on a park hopper, you're looking at like $2,000 for tickets. That's ridiculous. I don't understand why they have to be so much. That's what I was saying. I don't know that that's what Walt would want. Walt would be about, okay, let's make money, but at the same time, this is for the family, this is for kids, this is for making memories with your families and making happiness. I'm not quite sure this is the way to go. It seems like every time Disney has gone the strict business route, it hasn't worked out well. As I was talking to Erica earlier, I'm a big sports nut. I love the whole process of building teams, so like being like a general manager and kind of looking at what they're doing from a baseball and football perspective. They're going very analytical. If you're strictly analytics in sports, and this is a hot debate, a hot topic in sports as well, but if you're strictly analytical, all you see is the numbers. The numbers don't speak everything. It's, in this case with Disney, if you're looking at the numbers, they're looking at, okay, let's bring in the people who are going to spend the money. We'll make more money by bringing them in. Maybe they don't employ quite as many people, but they're making more money per person per day in the parks. Well, what happens is those people are not going to be going to the parks as much, and then the people who couldn't afford it, because now you've priced them out, well, now they're not going, and you're going to end up back in another low period like we were in the 90s, when you hear of all the things of there was almost a hostile takeover and all these bad things were happening, and then Eisner came in, and oh man, why do I always blank on his name? He had his partner. So you had the creative and the business side working together, which is what needs to work now. And it seems like right now that's not what's happening. So hopefully they're just really using the system over in Paris to polish it up before they come here to try and find a happy medium. Because right now everybody's getting priced out. And we all love going to Disney World. So how do we voice our disapproval? The best way is just not going. But I'm going to be realistic and say that's not going to happen. People are still going to go. People still want to go. It's Disney. It's Disney World. People still want to go. So the other way is to do it through social media, vloggers, voicing their displeasure, podcasts like me. I don't reach enough people. I understand that. But big podcasts, really calling them out. Make Bob Chapek answer the questions. He's not answering anything right now. He seems to dodge questions more than he does anything, and when he does have to answer questions, it doesn't seem like he actually understands what's going on in the parks. So holding him accountable, hold his feet to the fire of why are you catering to the wealthy and making it so difficult for even the middle class to go. I would love to be able to take more people. I'd love to find ways to take more family members, some of my nieces and nephews, to the parks. But we can't afford it, and I know most people can't afford it either. So finding a way to hold their feet to the fire, calling them out on podcasts, on social media, on vlogs, as much as we can. They want a good image as much as anything. They can keep coming back, and people can keep coming back and saying it's a business, it's a business, it's a business. But this is a business that's driven by the magic they create. If people are so unhappy about how much it costs and they're miserable while they're there, that magic is not going to be as real, especially as they cut back on perks, they cut back on shows. Like, it's time to bring back shows. If other theme parks have brought back shows, it's time for you to bring back shows. I don't understand why there's no live shows going on in Magic Kingdom. You just renovated that stage out front. Get the shows going again. It's time to find ways to eat up crowds. It's time to bring everybody back to work. It's time to bring that magic fully back. If you can have people standing around for fireworks at night, packing Main Street, packing the hub. You can have people performing out on the stage. You can have people performing in Hollywood studios. You can have people performing in Epcot, which you do have some live music and stuff over there, but we can have more. It's not back to where it was, and it feels like at this point it's just saving money instead of COVID protocols, because those seem to have completely gone out the window at this point. All the plexiglass is more or less gone. There's no social distancing. Parks are crowded. Let's get it back. If you're bringing the numbers back, you're bringing the people in, then bring the shows back, bring all the cast members back. You got to find ways to cater to people. Bring some of the perks back. I'll get off my soapbox, but it's kind of how I feel at this point. It's getting very frustrated with it being run completely like a business. I understand it's a business and that's what it is, but when it really succeeds is when it's run as a business and it still looks out for everybody who wants to come there, and it looks out for the cast members, and it finds the happy middle ground. It can't be ran analytically. It can't be ran by just looking at the bottom dollar. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked in the past. And the saying, history repeats itself, is a saying for a reason. With that, I'm going to go ahead and say, go out and find your joy. Disney World is still my joy. Seeing the happiness in the parks is still my joy, but I'm going to kind of voice what I'm not happy with, and I'm not happy with that. So, but it's still my joy. Seeing everybody's smiling faces, seeing the tears that were coming down people's eyes when they were watching Happily Ever After on the vlogs. It's fantastic. I'll still take my family. We can't do it very much. But please, go out, find your joy, and have a magical week.